How does the mainland market compare to the Hawaii market when it comes to the number of homes that are getting price reduced? We'll take a look at that coming up next. Hey, what's going on, friends? This week, we're going to take a look at the data for the national market and the local market here on the Big Island and see if there is a difference in the amount of homes that are getting reductions on price. So we're going to look at active data, active homes on the market, and how many homes on the market are seeing price reductions before they sell. And so we're going to jump right into the slides right here. This is a slide that is showing the number of active listings on the market. The gold bars are the active listings here on the island, and the orange line here is national data, right? So the number for national data is on this axis, and the number of homes on the market for locally here on the Big Island are on this axis. So if you look at the trend, we were kind of going up in terms of active listings earlier this year, like in February, January, where active listings were actually going down nationally, and then active listings started to come up, and at the same time our number of active listings went down. So we covered this a couple of weeks ago in terms of the difference in the trend, but what's important here is looking at how many homes are seeing price reductions. And so if we get into that data and we look at this slide, this is showing how many homes month after month have had price reductions. These are just homes and condominiums. And so if you look at that trend, the trend for the national market is going up pretty steeply in terms of the number of homes that are seeing price reductions. And it's been pretty steady. If you just take an average line here, it's pretty average and flat over the last 6 to 8 months here on the Big Island. And what's interesting here is if we look at this as a percentage, right? So really, numbers don't really mean anything unless you put them in context. And so if you look at the number of homes, like just in the month of September, there was 172 homes that had a price reduction here locally. There was nearly 275,000 homes nationally. So if we look at that versus the number of active homes on the market on this slide, and we do a little bit of math, what we come out with here is in Hawaii, about 24% of active listings are seeing price reductions per month, where nationally it's 39%. So that's a pretty big difference in terms of the number of homes that are seeing price reductions versus Hawaii and nationally. So yes, this is kind of a normal thing in the market where if sellers are overpriced, they have to reduce the price in order for the home to sell. But as we're seeing, if you're thinking nationally, if you're seeing and feeling that nationally, and that same trend is happening here, it's happening at a much lower rate here, almost half, right? Like 60% the amount of homes are being reduced here versus the national market. So it's a big difference, something to kind of understand when you look at national averages and national data and you hear national media talking about stuff. It doesn't necessarily apply to the local market. And even if you dig further deeper into this and you look at submarkets like Kona or Puna, it's going to be different. And so don't get caught up in kind of the noise of the national market. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's actually what's going on. And you want to look locally at exactly what the data is saying in order to make a good judgment call. And here locally, we've just seen that inventory is very low, and the amount of homes that get price reduced is really based per seller, right? That's something that we have zero control over. Is if a seller comes on market for way too much money, then it's going to have to reduce before it sells, and sellers can list for whatever they want, right? So even when you look at this data and you try and draw conclusions out of it, it can or cannot be helpful. But the main thing here is if you just look on average, national versus local, here in Hawaii, there are much fewer homes that have to be reduced in price prior to selling than nationally. So just thought that was an interesting stat for you guys to chew on. If you have any questions, as always, you can reach out at dylan@buybigisland.com. You can book a meeting with the link in the comments below. And if you have any questions about your specific situation, just reach out and we will get back to you. Appreciate you guys watching. Aloha.